So, I have unfortunate news. I have semi-unfortunate news. And that would be that I have an addiction, to One Piece. And I am going to make it everybody else's problem. You guys saw in my last video, I have a orange cowboy hat. What else could that be other than Ace's hat, of course? Yeah. I keep making this joke. About, so, in middle school, right? When you went to middle school and like or elementary school too. Yeah, elementary school too. In the early 2000s, you went down one of two routes. And you either got into Naruto or One Piece. Or you were like, I don't know, into Sailor Moon or something. I don't know about that. But yeah, my friends were into Naruto. And that means that we had depression. Basically, I honestly think that everyone who was into Naruto had or ended up having depression. Or you were into One Piece and you were a happy child. I, like many others, in my adulthood, have decided to find my inner child, and I guess that means that I've gotten into One Piece, and it has taken over my life, as you would imagine a show with like 1,000 episodes would. I'm not up to date with One Piece. I will be one day. But in this video, I'm going to give you all the reasons why you should also become addicted to One Piece and watch One Piece, because I feel like it's so funny, because so many people like tried to force me to watch One Piece so many years ago. Like for years, like a decade or more, people have been trying to get me to read or watch One Piece. And I wouldn't do it because I was like, it's too freaking long. After Naruto, because my last flourish of being into Naruto was like around chapter 500, 600 or so. And I was sort of like, I didn't want to commit to something with over 600 chapters to read. But anyway, I'm watching it now, which is probably worse, as people say. So, let's get into convincing you to watch One Piece, getting you started with the basics of One Piece, because this is going to be a series, because it has really taken over my life in a big way. Okay, let's go. Alright. So, the first reason why, or the first many reasons why, the first character I want to discuss is Monkey D. Luffy. I think that having a main character is, having a good main character is such an integral part of a show. There are so many shows that it really kind of turns people off because the main character is annoying or overbearing, or they have lots of flaws. And they can have flaws without being a genuinely bad person. So yeah, Monkey D. Luffy, what makes him a good main character? And why does he make you want to continue watching this freaking long ass show? Let's jump in. Monkey D. Luffy members of his family admired members of the pirates, and he has a very complicated family that I will discuss in another video. Yeah. So, the first episode, you find out how he gets this straw hat. I feel like because I'm so obsessed with One Piece recently, lots of my videos have had hats in them. Because I just have them. Like, really. But this one makes a nice sound. So yeah, one of the things that Luffy has that a lot of other shonen main characters do not have is, even though he is a pirate, he is relatively morally sound. He searches for people who maybe they have a troubled background, but they're not bad people. You will realize that everyone in the Straw Hat crew, even the ones that are introduced as villains and do sort of shitty things, are not bad people at the end of the day. And also, he's like kind of adorable. I feel like until Chopper came into the story, Luffy was a great mascot to have that, or I guess the Going Merry. He's got a smile like freaking sunshine. I'll put a picture right here. His smile is like sunshine. And I don't think that anyone watching One Piece or anyone watching anime in general would feel upset seeing him smile. I think that his reckless hopefulness and how much he cares about his goals and his crew as well, it really resonates with people, because he is the glue holding this sort of like ragtag team of thieves, bandits, and weirdos together. Because he believes in his goal so much, and he believes in his crew so much. Not ever once, I think, does he ever doubt that they can get what they need to get done, and sometimes that does get them in trouble, but you're rooting for them so much that you don't even give a shit. Like, you want to see them win, when the main character is just a dude who believes in his friends. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, and also the way that they get their powers. Because I'm sure that you've seen Luffy do a weird thing when his body stretches, and most of the people who have powers have it either because they're some weird species or because they ate a devil fruit. And the one that Luffy ate was the gum fruit. I think that in a recent chapter we find out what it's actually called or something, but we're gonna call it the gum fruit for the sort of foreseeable future, until I figure out what the hell people are talking about in the Lush comments. So yes, from Luffy onto the next character. Okay. So, I think that this is probably, I don't know if Zoro wins the character polls. I've never actually looked at them, but I think that most people really really love Zoro. Yeah, most people who like One Piece love Zoro, myself included. He is the second introduced character. Is Nami shown? Well, she might have been shown first, but not introduced. And he is a swordsman. And he's introduced. Oh my god. So some of the characters, if their introduction is just in passing, or their backstory is just in passing, I'll do it in the other video, just because it doesn't make a sense if I have to cover it anyway. Like, for example, Nami's backstory is like an entire arc, so I'll do that in the longer video. But yeah, Zora's introduced, being tied up, being punished for something, and at first you're like, oh, is this a bad dude? Is this a bad mamma jamma? And I mean, he ends up, and Luffy approaches him because he's looking for him, and he's like, "So, dude, what's up?" And Zoro's like, "Get the F away from me." And yeah, that's how they're introduced. Basically. But yeah, Zoro's being punished and possibly executed by some marine person. Sorry, I have the sword in my hand. Okay, so Zoro, he doesn't use one sword. He doesn't use two swords. He uses the 3-sword style. And I have, the Waruichimanji. I think that's the name, I don't remember. Right here. Because, I basically forced everyone to cosplay One Piece with me at Colossal Con East. Which is great because I got everyone to cosplay One Piece with me. So I was Nami and also Ace one day. And my brother was Law. My partner was Zoro. I wanted him to be Sanji. But he said he wanted to be Zoro because Zoro was more cool. Which, I love Sanji and Zoro. So yes, there is this funny joke. When I moved in, my partner saw like 4 swords over on the shelf or whatever, and they were like, oh, this is Zoro's, right? Which one of these is Zoro's sword? And it's funny because, that's how you find out that Zoro uses 3 swords, because obviously he's tied up and they took away his swords. Luffy has to go get Zoro's swords so that Zoro can help him. One of the things, I think that this happens very early on, but you realize that there are the on the surface bad guys, which are other pirates and stuff, and the Marines, you know, because they don't like the pirates. And then it gets a lot deeper, because you realize the people who are being punished for things are sometimes not bad. And the same thing happens with Zoro. Unsheathing ASMR. is, when you cosplay Zoro to a convention, you are committing yourself to knocking people around. Really, no matter how you do it, you end up knocking people around because, like, you're so long, you're so wide with all of the swords. It is very funny. Reasons to love Zoro and why you should watch One Piece for Zoro. Let's go. 1. He has swords. Swords are super cool, and he has 3 of them, sometimes more, and that's 3 times as cool. I need to do this series with like other characters, but like I love swords. I have like 4 swords. They're not real because I'm not gonna spend like $200 on a real sword. They're all of the swords I have are either wooden or foam, because it's very stupid, in my opinion, to spend $200+ on a sword that I cannot even use. At least if it's wooden or foam, I can use it for cosplay. But yeah. Zoro is also named after and takes a likeness from the character Zoro, you know, with the oh, maybe it's the other way. You know, that one, famously played by, oh my god, this is gonna get me freaking canceled, but I only can remember him by being like, yeah, the dad from Spy Kids. Literally, he's such a famous actor, so iconic. I can only think of the dad from Spy Kids. And also Zoro. I know he plays Zoro. I love that one. Okay, now on to Exhibit A. Zoro is just a sleepy boy. He's just a sleepy guy. He sleeps like all day and then he'll wake up when something is important. Zoro also has like 0 sense of direction, like a negative sense of direction. At the One Piece meetup at Colossal Con, one of the Zoros during the photo shoot just walked away, and that was part of the thing because he just got lost. So it's a really, to say things like smartling or whatever, it is a really hilarious juxtaposition between, you know, here is a super serious dude who has like inhuman strength for his scenes. I think he is holding like way too many swords, and he's like, I can just defeat these 1,000 men if I could have just a couple more swords. And he just fights people with as many swords as he possibly can. And he was like that from childhood. Yeah. I actually have 2 canon Nami outfits, but for some reason, because I'm filming, nothing can run smoothly, basically. I cannot find any of them, so this will have to do. I mean, I also did just bring them to a convention, but never mind. So for a trigger for Nami, will I talk about, I brought my wallet. Now this is a leather wallet from Michael Kors. It's nice and textured. as a thief from pirates. So it was very smart of Luffy to ask her to be on his ship. But for real. So, do I have anything in here? Just... It's fine, you can't see anything. I don't really have anything in here. So, how does Nami, one who thieves from pirates, become a member of the Straw Hats? Luffy kind of just does whatever he wants, and much like with Zoro, he kind of doesn't care if someone has a reputation for stealing from pirates, killing pirates, being a bounty hunter. One of his most endearing qualities is that he's really willing to become friends with anybody. He doesn't really care. And Nami is not just a thief, she is a world-class navigator. I'm trying not to give too many things away because the Nami's sort of like backstory arc is like one of my favorite arcs in One Piece so far. So yes, reasons you should love Nami. Number one, she is like, Luffy is really, really goofy. And he doesn't really care. He goes with the flow, you know what I mean? Zoro is very, very serious. But he also like goes with the flow. And Nami, as the navigator, she takes charge. She's sort of their like manager in a lot of situations, where she's the brains, they're the bronze. She's extremely intelligent. I am also going to be doing a video where I explain the first like major arc of One Piece, and I'm gonna try to do it as I watch through One Piece. So I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, I want to get the scene from the Arlong Park arc, the scene, you know what I mean, like tattooed onto me. I cried so hard. Oh, I get like really emotional about Nami. She's just a great character. I think that on the outside, if you don't watch One Piece, you might think, oh, it's just characters with, like, all the male characters are really strong dudes who eat a lot, blah, 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 and all the female characters just have big boobs. Bam. Bam. You know? But, I think that the female characters of One Piece are extremely strong, and, you care about them in a way that, like, a lot of really big animes, you don't care about a lot of the female characters. I'm not gonna name names, but, like, you know the ones where, when you really think about it, you're like, I have no reason to give a shit about this character. They're just there all the time, doing not much. But Nami's like that, not like that. Nami really, she becomes stronger and stronger and stronger in her body and mind as the series goes on. And at first, she's just a navigator, but then she can really hold her own, much like another character that I will get to. Usopp, who I'll put a photo of right over here or something. He, in my opinion, is like probably the most underrated out of the original sort of main cast of characters. He is introduced. I have to try and slow down. Usopp is introduced as a sort of like boy who called wolf character. They stop at this island, Luffy, Nami, and Zoro, and I don't remember why they stopped there, but they stopped there, and Usopp's dad is a pirate, and so there's a lot of stigma, obviously, against pirates. They're known for pillaging and thieving and all these things, right? So Usopp doesn't have a family, and he is outcasted because his father is a pirate, so they think that he is sort of the same, you know? And he, not unlike our friend Naruto Uzumaki, acts out, in order to get attention, from these people who really, treat him like shit. Because at the end of the day, these are the people who are in his community, and he wants to be accepted by them, or at least, given attention or whatever from them. So, Usopp likes this girl, and this girl, she's got some money, so, the fact that she's hanging around with him and all that stuff, like, he was a skater boy, she said see you later boy type of vibe, and, she becomes convinced by other members of the community and people who are actually trying to steal her money that is what Usopp is doing. And because Usopp lies so much, because Usopp has this reputation, she is inclined to believe these people who are extremely close to her. And at the end of the day, it ends up being that these people are steering her astray, and they're out to get her, and Usopp was right all along. So, again, a character, he is struggling, but he, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, he lies a lot, which I guess is not seen as something that's morally sound, but in this situation, I think, we can forgive Mr. Usopp. He is such an interesting character because, again, unlike Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, he does not have super strength, superhuman abilities. In fact, the thing that he does best at the beginning is lying. So, telling people that he's stronger than he is, that he is the captain of the ship, that he has an army of 1 million people. But he goes through probably one of the best character developments and character arcs in One Piece, and it's very touching. And I don't remember if I said this before. I'm gonna edit it seen my brother cry, like 2 times ever. And it was like one when Baymax died in Big Hero 6. Not even when Tadashi died, when Baymax had to be rebooted. And then also when something bad happened to Usopp. Because it really, because he's not as strong as everybody else. And he starts out sort of as a coward. His want to become stronger and his want to become brave, but it's difficult for him, and that's what makes him such a relatable character that people love. My makeup actually looks a little bit good today, so I didn't want to ruin it with this ugly ass eyebrow. But you get the idea. So, I hope that YouTube doesn't flag me for this shit. That would be really bad. But let's say this is a fake knife. It's totally a fake knife. So, Sanji is another main character. He is introduced after Usopp. And I think that as far as popularity goes, Zoro is considered more popular than Sanji. However, I love them both so much. I think that they're really good. Like, one is really serious, Zoro, and Sanji is really, he can be very serious at times, and he gets shit done, like Zoro, but he is a simp. He is a simp of simps. He is a simp of simps of simps. Oh, and he's also a chef. But yes. So, I feel like on the surface, right, you might think, okay, another character like Brock, Meliodas, blah blah blah, who they're like, they simp over women, but they don't really care that much about women and their rights and their well-being. Well, Sanji legitimately, in my opinion, drinks respect woman juice. He doesn't want women who are fragile and docile and stuff. He wants women who are going to step on him. I respect him so much. Oh my god, this looks so stupid. Can you believe I used to have hair like that? Like, covering one eye for a really long time. I could have put on my wig. I actually cosplay Sanji. But did not feel like doing that. For Nami I did, which also was stupid because my hair is really similar to her. But whatever. Yes. Why is Sanji a good member of the Straw Hat crew? And why should you watch One Piece because of it? He's just a multifaceted character. And all these characters don't just have like one thing going on, other than maybe Nami. But even then, no, she doesn't. She's a very complex individual. And it's not just because I'm Sanji I'm saying that. Not only does Sanji love women, and he's kind to women, and he wants them to step on them, and he wants powerful women in his life, but he is mean to men. Literally, he talks frequently, and it's very funny, that he wants to put a lock on the fridge to stop Luffy from eating all the food. And because he's not cooking for Luffy, he's cooking for the beautiful Nami and Robin. Which I can respect. always handle knives safely, children. He also, you would think that a chef would fight with knives or something or whatever, right? But we already have an amazing swordsman who is going to be the #1 swordsman in the world. So, what the hell is Sanji's shtick? He fights with his feet. So Sanji's former boss used to be known as Red Leg because he would kick his opponents and his feet would be bloodied with their blood. Wow, that's gruesome. But Sanji was trained by him and became a chef basically because of him, and so he has a lot of respect for his, teacher. But yes, there is another aspect to Sanji. He has like a code of ethics, sort of. Like he believes that it is his job as a chef to cook for people, no matter their background or, whatever. And that is very commendable. In the restaurant where he works, lots of people are sort of like, oh, this pirate person, we don't want pirates, they're not going to pay, they're not even good for anything. But Sanji is like, I as a chef have a duty to feed these people and not let them go hungry. And that has to do with his backstory, because what did they say? Sanji would never let someone go hungry because he knows what it's like. Sanji brings so much, literally, flavor to the group. Because, you got tough guys, pretty woman, all this stuff, and he's like kind of a pretty boy. You could argue that Zoro's very pretty, which he is, but he's more like handsome, and Luffy is cute, and I don't know. But Sanji is most definitely a pretty boy. He's blonde, he just has a weird eyebrow and weird facial hair at the time skip. But he's, in my opinion, pretty. And that's why you should watch One Piece. I have no other brown shirts, so it'll have to be this. So da-da-da-da. If you are on TikTok over the past year or whatever, or 2 years, honestly, time is really, really weird. You will have heard a song that goes, Boku wa Doctor, Tony Tony, Chopper. Needless to say, that is such an important cultural masterpiece in the world. Tony Chopper. He is a doctor. He is a reindeer person. He's a reindeer who ate the human fruit. The human fruit. Now I know, just follow with me. That sounds freaking ridiculous because I haven't spoken about devil fruit that much. Because I want to make a more in-depth One Piece video. Because I'm fucking crazy. Because Chopper is like the mascot of the show. I thought that he would be introduced quite early on. And when I was watching the show with my brother, I was literally like, okay, we're on episode like 100 or whatever, where the frick is Chopper, the doctor. Like, people are getting hit and injured left and Chopper's not introduced in the first arc, so to speak, but I wanted to talk about him anyway, even though he's not going to be talked about in my, first explaining One Piece video, not dissimilarly to Mike's video about Pretty Little Liars. Okay, so I don't think that I need to give too many reasons why Chopper is the best. I think that he fulfills something in the show that the other characters don't really do. So, while there is conflict between characters, and sure, Luffy's really cute, Nami is adorable, Chopper is like their animal mascot, you know what I mean? Every good show needs one, a little bit. But not just that. He's their medic. This tiny little reindeer human thing is their medic, because God knows that they are getting injured like nobody's business. They almost die so many times. And you're like, they're not gonna die. Then they don't. Yeah, the main cast anyway. So, nervous laughter. So, yes, Chopper's good. I think that there's literally no reason why anyone would dislike Chopper other than maybe he has kind of an annoying voice. But even then, he's a tiny little reindeer thing. What's your problem, man? Chopper's just so cute. Girls like him because he's so adorable and fluffy, and I mean, he probably smells like shit, but he probably feels a bit like a squishmallow. And then dudes love him because he becomes a giant man thing that's super strong, and he, I don't want to give spoilers, but, he's not unlike Frieza in the way that this is not even his final form. Yes. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say for now. If you watch One Piece already and for some reason you are suffering through this video with me, thanks. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that you're going to go and watch One Piece right now. I know. Most definitely that is what you were thinking. But in case you're not, that's totally fine. Just know that I will keep bothering you until you do watch One Piece eventually. I'm joking, except that I am not. So I hope that you go and watch One Piece so that I can talk to you about it, and so that when I have inevitably make a One Piece roleplay and another One Piece video, because it's consuming my life, that you understand it. Good night. 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 Oh, that's why Chopper wasn't in my notes.